Michael Sarnoski is attached to the Quiet Place franchise. And by all accounts, how I understand this, and I hate to go against Deadline because Deadline's usually pretty damn accurate with this stuff. I hate to go against Deadline, but I'm finding more reports that he is directing Sarnoski, the director of the Nicolas Cage movie Pig, which made my top 10 of the year, last year's list. He is directing a Quiet Place spinoff. It seemed like it was initially reported as a sequel because Krasinski initially said, am I wrong or did I cross a Mandela universe? Did Krasinski not say that he was not going to do the third movie, that the torch was going to get passed?
That's what I thought.
I thought so too.
Because Krasinski said he has other projects he wants to work on, so he needs to pass off this third one to somebody else, and he'll still produce it and maybe even write it, but he can't direct. And unless we all went through some like dimensional rift into the Mandela effect thing that happened to all of us at the same time, I could have sworn that's what we had last week.
But now I understand that Emily Blunt in July of last year confirmed that John Krasinski is working on a third movie separate from the spin-off movie, which has Michael Sarnoski attached, and he is intending to serve as the director for Quiet Place Part 3.
Okay.
So this spinoff was originally going to be directed by Jeff Nichols. Jeff Nichols directed Mud, the Matthew McConaughey movie. Really good movie, too. Really good movie. He also did Take Shelter with Michael Shannon. That's Jeff Nichols.
Really?
Jeff Nichols was the one.
Huh.
Jeff Nichols. Here's how I understand this. Jeff Nichols was going to direct this Quiet Place spinoff. He dropped out. It went to Michael Sarnoski. Michael Sarnoski is now going to direct this Quiet Place spinoff. According to Emily Blunt, John Krasinski is directing A Quiet Place Part 3. Jesus, this was confusing.
And you know what? I'll trust the wife out of all these sources, though.
100%. I'm going with the wife. I'm definitely going with the wife. The wife is the one. They've had dinner table conversations about this. But yes, either way, I don't care if Sarnoski does the third one. I'd rather it be Krasinski, but Sarnoski alone is interesting. Yeah. And he's interesting because there's not a lot known about him. There's not a lot known about him yet. He's been even with this, how acclaimed Pig has been, the new Nick Cage movie. He's been very under the radar. He doesn't give many interviews. This guy is kind of an enigma. It's despite having I wouldn't say a very popular, but a very highly regarded debut movie. He's been very acclaimed on that. I don't even know what A Quiet Place spinoff is going to look like. Is it going to follow a separate family?
I was about to say you could easily do a spinoff cheaply and low grade, but honestly the possibilities are open because it's honestly a lot, especially the second movie reminded me a lot of the video game Joel and Ellie. Yes, thank you, Last of Us. And it's like you've just built this world, this post-apocalyptic world. How's another family doing? How's the government doing? How's not that I would always love. I always love to see that in any kind of post-apocalypse. You know me about that. My favorite part of any zombie anything is the first 12 hours and how the hell does the government respond to it, because it's always fascinating to see how that moves. But anyway, all that aside, there's definitely a great foundation for following an infinite number of people across this post-apocalypse, this very unique horror.
Joe, what say you? Send us home. You get last word.
I mean, for me, when I heard that he was going to direct the third, I'm like, cool, we get a different director, different take, wrap up this trilogy and everything. And then I heard he's getting the spinoff, and I'm just like, okay, that's a bit weird. The last thing I expected, when I went to the theaters in 2018 and I saw A Quiet Place Part 1, I did not expect it to A, get a sequel, but B, to start its own film universe franchise type of thing. But I'm open to it because, the second one, we just did our favorite movies of the year. The second one was my favorite movie last year. I had a ton of fun watching it. So I'm open to, we expand on this, but I don't want it too expanded to where, it kind of ruins, the mystery of these, creatures and everything. I do love the opening, the two, and I would love an idea of, how those first 12 hours really went. I just don't want this spinoff ruining the mythology of these aliens. The last thing I want is this spinoff to be they're from the galaxy of blue, 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 and then it's just oh no, now this is when it's gonna get stupid, is when you actually start explaining it. Just leave it as they're just aliens. They're just aliens that come down here. This is how they work. This is how they operate. Action. And just it's just a thrilling, good time from there. You don't need to explain it. And that's the beauty of Quiet Place Part 2. I've seen so many people rip on that movie because they didn't explain anything. They just continued the movie. And it's just like, that's the fucking point. Like
two gave me exactly what I wanted from the first one.
Exactly.
I want to see the monsters rip everything, like just tear through a group of people in the first hour of the disaster.
Expand the world by showing the humanity side of everything, not the alien side or anything. What are other humans doing? What is it?
The inside of humanity, like literally their insides.
And this is the problem with like I think Dom calls it like the wiki age of things, is that I don't want to know any more. I don't want to know any more about the aliens in A Quiet Place than I already do. Yeah. I don't care. Because you know what? Here's the shocking thing. And I know that like in the age where everything has to have a backstory and everything has to have a multi-dimensional sort of like prologue, like think of it this way. Isn't it a little creepier that you have no idea what they are, where they came from, how they operate, how they were born? I don't need to know. That adds to the mystery. I don't need to know what planet these damn things came from. Look what they did to the world. That's scary enough.
That's Lovecraft. That's the beauty of Lovecraft, where it's like, this is so beyond our basic feeble human understanding. That's how evil this is. That's how foreign this is. Maybe it's not even aliens. Maybe it's freaking mysticism too, dimensional. Who the hell knows? It's so beyond you. That becomes the horror. That the shroud is more horrifying than what's behind the shroud.
Exactly.
It's essentially that.
Exactly. And like that is my only fear of it having a spin-off and possibly getting future spin-offs and everything, is that are they like, don't explain it, don't go into reasons why, don't have like a scientist be like, I've been studying them ever since this all started, this is how they operate, this is what they do. And it's just like, no, we got the logistics. They hear sound. If the sound is too loud, it like, you know, it keeps their face open, you can shoot them with a shotgun and kill them. That's all I need.
Yeah, I mean, even in the first one, we didn't get great looks at them to begin with. And that made it more frightening. It's about the sound. It's about the movement. It's about the layering of suspense. Yeah. And that's what I think makes it great. To bring this whole thing full circle, I'll quote the great song that's used in the Scream movies, Red Right Hand by Nick Cave. You're one microscopic cog in its catastrophic plan. And that's all you need. That's all you need with this. And I don't think Sarnoski's going to Ridley Scott it and make this, no disrespect to Ridley, but he's not going to Ridley Scott it and make it an alien sort of movie. Yeah. And again, I'm only going off of one thing that he's ever done, but Sarnoski, and I don't think you two saw Pig with Nick Cage. Sarnoski is very like doomy. Is it like pessimistic almost in his tone, at least in Pig. He's very dark, and he's not afraid of silence or like quiet moments. So that's why I was really elated to see that he's going to be attached with this series in some way, because I think that he will bring a layer of ambiguity to this thing. Yeah. Especially tasked with just kind of creating his own thing as well.
I would love to see, and we can wrap it up here before the Zoom thing ends. I would love to see, because like, I mean, it's the very little I know about Pig from you, Steve. But yeah, it is a gloomy movie. It is a dark movie. I would love it if we saw how a family comes together and is able to survive this. Dude, let's get like, after the first 12 hours, let's get that group of survivors that are like at each other's throats and almost ruining it for one another, like, you know, and everything. Like I would like to see as a spin-off, where it's just like, yeah, we see how a family was able to operate, but what about that?